The first week of July had that lazy golden heat that makes everything shimmer. Ava tossed her weekend bag into the trunk and leaned back against her friend Mia's car, sunglasses sliding down her nose. 3 whole weeks of freedom, she said, grinning. Mia laughed. My mom's already stocked the fridge like she's feeding a football team. Just don't eat all the popsicles on day one. Ava didn't know it yet, but she'd remember those words the moment everything changed. By the time they reached the lake house, the sun hung low, dusting the water with amber light. The place looked like something from a movie. White wooden railings, a big blue pool that spilled into the view of the lake. Fairy lights still coiled around the trees from last summer. And on the patio stood Elena, Mia's mom. She wore a rose-colored wrap dress that caught the evening light, blonde hair tied loosely, holding a glass of lemonade. "You must be Ava," she said, smiling with that calm, practiced warmth only adults seem to master. Ava nodded, suddenly aware of the dust on her sneakers. "Hi, Mrs. Reyes?" "Please, Elena." Her voice had a melodic softness. "Any friend of Mia's gets a first name pass." When she laughed, Ava caught the faintest dimple at the corner of her mouth, something she'd end up thinking about far too much. The first few days passed in a blur of sleep-ins, takeout boxes, and heat waves. Mia spent most mornings FaceTiming her summer fling from college, leaving Ava to drift through the quiet house, half bored, half dreaming. That's how she found herself sitting by the pool one afternoon, feet dangling in the water, a cherry popsicle melting between her fingers. "Hot day for sugar," came a voice behind her. Ava turned. Elena stood there in a crimson one-piece swimsuit, her wrap loosely tied at the waist, hair down. The sun lit her like it was conspiring. Ava blinked. "It's research, testing the melting point of frozen desserts." Elena smiled, lowering herself into the pool with an elegant ease. "And what are your findings, Professor?" "That I might need another sample." The older woman laughed, a real one this time, echoing across the water. "Your trouble. Only on weekends." They floated there for a while, just exchanging small jokes about sunscreen and playlists. When Elena brushed a hand through her hair, droplets ran down her shoulder, and Ava's heart did something reckless. That evening, Mia went out to meet friends, leaving Ava and Elena to guard the house. Ava sat on the patio couch, pretending to scroll her phone while Elena fussed with the outdoor lights. "You don't mind if I keep them on, do you?" she asked. "They make the pool look like champagne." Ava smiled. "I don't mind anything you do." The words slipped out before she could catch them. Elena paused, looking at her, really looking. "You have a dangerous way of saying things, Ava." "Do I?" "Yes." Elena turned back toward the lights, but her voice softened. "You remind me how easy it is to forget where the lines are." Ava wanted to ask which lines, but instead she said, "Maybe lines are just suggestions." Elena gave a quiet laugh, spoken like someone who's never had to clean up the mess. They fell into silence. Crickets chirped, the pool shimmered. Ava could feel the warmth of the air against her skin, the faint smell of citrus from Elena's drink. "I should probably go inside," Elena murmured. "You don't have to. I mean, it's nice out." Elena's lips curved into something halfway between amusement and understanding. "You are dangerous." Later, lying awake in the guest room, Ava stared at the ceiling fan spinning lazy circles. She could still hear the faint echo of Elena's laughter through the open window. "It's just a crush," she told herself, "a stupid summer thing." But when she closed her eyes, she saw sunlight on Elena's shoulders, that small smile when their eyes met across the pool, and she knew summer was about to get complicated. By the second week, summer had settled in like a heartbeat, steady, golden, impossible to ignore. Every morning, sunlight slipped through the curtains of Ava's guest room, and she'd wake to the soft sounds of Elena in the kitchen, the hum of the blender, the faint clink of ice, the scent of coffee and peaches. It was torture. Beautiful, slow, unending torture. "Morning, sleepyhead," Elena said one day, catching Ava sneaking a glance at her while she poured juice. She was wearing a loose white shirt tucked into denim shorts. Casual, confident, devastating. "You make mornings look illegal," Ava blurted out before her brain caught up. Elena arched an eyebrow. "Is that supposed to be a compliment or a confession?" "Both," Ava said with a grin. Elena laughed, shaking her head. "You're impossible." But her cheeks betrayed her, the tiniest hint of pink blooming across them. That afternoon, Mia went out on another day trip, and Ava ended up floating in the pool again, the sky a bright wash of blue overhead. Elena joined her after a while, her robe flowing behind her as she slipped gracefully into the water. "You practically live in this pool," she teased, swimming closer. "Well, if you're offering swimming lessons, I'll enroll full-time." "Oh, really?" Elena tilted her head. "What kind of lessons do you think I'm giving?" "The dangerous kind," Ava said softly. There was laughter in Elena's eyes, but something else too. Something that lingered just a heartbeat longer than it should have. They played a game that started innocent enough. Who could hold their breath the longest underwater? Ava lost. Twice. Maybe on purpose. The third time, when she came up gasping and laughing, Elena was right there, close enough that the world went quiet for a moment. Just water ripples, sunlight, and the soft sound of breathing. "You should be careful," Elena said quietly. "Flirting can get you into trouble." "Maybe I like trouble." Elena's gaze softened. "You really don't know what you're asking for." Ava smiled, stepping closer, their reflections overlapping on the water's surface. For a second, neither of them moved. The air between them shimmered, like heat, like something about to burn. Then Elena turned away, swimming to the edge. "That's enough lessons for today," she said, calm, but her hands trembling just slightly as she reached for her towel. Ava didn't press, but she didn't look away either. That night, thunder rolled in from the hills. The power flickered once, then steadied. Mia was still gone, and rain began tapping lightly against the glass doors. Ava sat by the window, watching the storm blur the pool lights into gold and silver streaks. Elena appeared beside her, holding 2 mugs of tea. "You okay?" "Storms are kind of nice. Everything feels closer." Elena sat down beside her, both of them wrapped in the hush of rain. "You remind me of when I was your age," she said after a pause. "I thought I knew everything about love. Turns out, I didn't know a thing. Maybe love isn't something you learn. Maybe it just happens to you." Elena's smile was wistful. "And what if it happens at the wrong time?" Ava met her eyes. "Then maybe the time's wrong, not the feeling." Something flickered in Elena's face, longing, fear, and something that looked dangerously like surrender. "You should get some sleep," she murmured, standing up, but when she turned, Ava reached out, not to grab her, just to brush her fingers across Elena's wrist. It was nothing, and it was everything. Elena froze. The rain outside deepened, soft and heavy. Then, quietly, she said, "Good night, Ava," and walked away before either of them could cross a line that already felt invisible. The next day, things felt different, quieter, but not colder. Elena avoided the pool that morning, claiming errands in town. Ava spent the day pretending not to wait for her. When she finally came back, the sunset was spilling orange across the water. "Rough day?" Ava asked. Elena smiled faintly. "Just complicated." "Want to talk about it?" Elena hesitated, then shook her head. "You wouldn't understand." "Try me," Ava said closer. Elena laughed under her breath. "You're too young to carry other people's ghosts." "Then maybe you need someone who doesn't care about ghosts. Just you," Ava said softly. For a long moment, Elena just stared at her, the sunset painting both of them in the same light,
the world small and silent. Then she whispered, "You make it very hard to be the adult in the room." Ava smiled. "Maybe don't try so hard." Elena's laughter cracked the tension for a moment. She reached out, tucking a strand of hair behind Ava's ear. Tender, fleeting, and achingly real. "Don't fall for me," she said, voice trembling with something between warning and wish. Ava whispered back, "Too late."
The morning after the storm, sunlight broke through the clouds like nothing had ever happened. The pool was still, the air smelled clean, and the world looked brand new, except inside Ava, where everything was tangled. She found Elena on the back deck, watering the potted herbs. Her hair was still damp from the shower, and she was wearing an oversized gray t-shirt that made her look disarmingly human, not the unreachable goddess Ava's heart had painted her as. "Hey," Ava said quietly. Elena looked up, smiling gently. "Hey yourself. Sleep okay?" "I had dreams," Ava said, leaning on the railing. "You were in them." Elena's hand paused over the basil pot. "You really don't hold back, do you?" Ava grinned. "What's the point of holding back?" "Protection," Elena said softly. "For both of us." Ava took a step closer. "You're not scared of me, are you?" Elena laughed quietly. "Terrified." Mia came home that afternoon, full of stories about her trip, oblivious to the silent electricity between her mom and her best friend. The house buzzed with noise again, music, chatter, the sound of the blender, but beneath it all was a quiet undercurrent, like a secret hiding in plain sight. That night, after Mia fell asleep watching a movie, Ava stepped outside. The pool shimmered under the moonlight, glassy and perfect. She dipped her toes in the water, tracing little ripples. She didn't hear Elena come out until she felt the air shift beside her. "Can't sleep either?" Elena asked. Ava shook her head. "You?" "I stopped pretending hours ago." Elena smiled softly, sitting down on the edge beside her. "It's too loud in my head." "Then maybe you should try listening to your heart instead," Ava said, her voice teasing, but her eyes serious. Elena turned to her, that same look, equal parts longing and restraint. "You make it sound so simple." "Maybe it is." "Don't," Elena whispered, shaking her head. "You don't know what this could cost me. My friendship with Mia, my peace, everything." Ava's throat tightened. "And what if it gives you something too? Something you thought you'd never feel again?" For a moment, the world went utterly still. Then Elena leaned in. Not a kiss, not yet, but a breath's distance. "You should go to bed, Ava," Ava whispered. "Say you don't feel it. Just once. I'll believe you." Elena closed her eyes. "I can't." That was all it took. Their lips met, soft, trembling, hesitant, a collision of everything they'd been holding back. The world dissolved into warmth and water and moonlight. It wasn't wild or desperate, just real. Two souls recognizing each other too late and exactly on time. When they finally pulled apart, Elena's hand stayed on Ava's cheek for a heartbeat longer. "This can't last," she said, her voice breaking a little. "It's not supposed to." "I know," Ava whispered, "but maybe it's not supposed to be forever. Maybe it's just supposed to be real." Elena smiled, eyes glassy. "You're going to ruin me." "Or remind you you're still alive," Ava said softly. The next morning came too soon. Sunlight spilled through the windows, ordinary and cruel. Mia was heady-cut again, a weekend trip with friends, and hugged her mom goodbye before dashing to the car. When the sound of the engine faded, silence filled the house. Ava and Elena stood in the kitchen facing each other like the air itself had changed. "So," Ava began, "now what?" Elena sighed, setting her coffee down. "Now we breathe, and we try not to make promises we can't keep." "That sounds like a goodbye," Ava said quietly. Elena hesitated. "It's a pause." Ava smiled sadly. "You always say things that sound like poems and feel like endings." "Maybe that's what love is," Elena said.
a story that keeps changing shape. Later that day, they went for one last swim. The sun was gentle, the sky an endless blue. They laughed again, real laughter this time, splashing each other, trading jokes, pretending the world wasn't heavy. For a moment, it felt like the beginning again. When Ava climbed out of the pool, dripping and smiling, she turned back to see Elena still in the water watching her, calm, wistful, radiant. Ava said, "If this is our last summer, I don't regret a single second." Elena's reply was barely a whisper, "Neither do I." Weeks later, after Ava left for college, a postcard arrived, no return address, just a photo of a lake and 4 words in looping handwriting. "Still beautiful, isn't it?" Ava smiled, holding it to her heart. Love wasn't always meant to last, but sometimes it was meant to matter. And for one forbidden summer, by that glittering blue pool, it had.